Hello, folks. So I have gotten a Christmas gift from my wife, a new Samsung S24 Plus phone. So I am going to start shooting my videos on these. We'll see if there's any difference in quality. The phone I had for the last 2-3 years was a free phone I got with our T-Mobile plan. It was the A32 5G. And I thought the video quality was pretty good, but we're going to test this out. This is the first video I'm shooting in just standard HD. I don't want to, no need to get them too crazy. But on this video, what I did want to cover was tweezers for watchmaking. Most of the tweezers you have for the normal professional watchmakers who use them on a daily basis are Dumont. They're about $30 and up. Sometimes you can find them around 28. Esslinger sells the number 2 is kind of the most common general use size when you start doing watchmaking. However, I do a lot of budget-minded tools for people starting out to get them to get going at least, so they're not overwhelmed by the price, because there's a lot of tools you have to accumulate. And I'm going to cover a couple ultrasonic cleaners for cleaning, which you could use to clean watch movements with some separate jars and cleaning solution, right down to distilled water. But there's some good watchmaking channels that have already covered that subject in depth, so I don't know if I really need to get into that or if there's any need for it. But I did what I did want to cover, since I do focus on the budget end for getting people to start getting their feet wet. So you have Dumont, you have Bergeon, you have Horatec. Those tweezers are about $30 and up, just for one tweezer. Now, right down to the bottom where Cousins comes in with Vetus, you can get Vetus from other locations, but there have been known to be some fakes. Vetus is a well-known budget tweezer for around now they've gone up. They're about $7 for a ST10, I think it is. Which is kind of the recommended starting point. And I would recommend going through Cousins if you're going to start with a basic, inexpensive tweezer. Now, a step up, I would say, from that are these tweezers. These are from a distributor in New Jersey. I believe they're stationed in New Jersey, just a small little distributor for Italian tweezers called Viola and Romain. Now, I believe, from what my research shows, they're made by the same company in Italy. They kind of the finish on the Romains are just a little bit less, I would say, for the the prettiness of the tweezer. That's how they kind of list them, is that the overall finishing of the Violas, which are almost twice the money. And I'll get into that as well, because you may want to look at Viola, but I don't see. I've had one Viola. I can't find it, but it's an older one, and these compared to that Viola as far as finishing and just the tweezing action and to be able to grip. So I'm going to start with this one. This is a number 2. This is currently on sale on their website. If you look for Viola tweezers, they're the only distributor in North America, as far as I know. They are actually stamped or engraved. Some of them do like like a laser etch, which can actually be rubbed off. These are actually like the Dumonts. They're actually engraved. There's a depth to them. These are the 2 SA. These are currently $4.90 at on their store, and they've been on sale since I bought them about 4 months ago, and I've been using them, and they're still like brand new. They are great. I'm very impressed with them. $4.90. Now, you're going to pay some shipping. I think the shipping was very reasonable, like $4 or $5. I'm in Illinois, so it came from New Jersey, just a couple, not too far from where I'm not sure if you pay a little bit more for California, obviously, if you're in California, but it's only going to be maybe a 50 or a buck more if it is anymore. So what I do is, this was $4.90 for the 2 SAs. And again, hoping with my new 24 Plus phone, you could see a little bit more detail. I'm hoping the cameras might be a little bit better. But if you look at the action, they're pretty even. Now, where you start seeing cheaper tweezers, where you start seeing the difference between like Dumont's all the way down to like lesser known brands, and not just Vetus is pretty good actually, but I have Vetus and they are uneven. One of the tips are a little bit thinner. I can't really see a whole lot difference between the tips. So again, these are number twos. These are what, like with Dumont's, people will tell you to start off with for general assembly, disassembly and assembly of watch movements. And I would definitely recommend starting with this. It's, you know, the tips are not so fine where it's going to be hard to get used to picking up your work because you're just kind of starting out. Or even if you've been doing it for a while, it's just, the tips are just kind of the thickness you'd want for picking up screws and stuff. They're not too thick, but they're not too thin where, you know, may be hard getting used to right off the bat. So again, it says anti-acid, anti-magnetic. So they're stainless steel. It says stainless steel. Again, 2SA Romain Italy. So, and I don't know, this brand's been around for a long time. I remember my mom had in her little sewing kit, I don't know where she had it from, the 60s, a pair of Romain tweezers. They had the they were, you could tell they weren't for like watchmaking or anything particular, maybe for eyelashes. They're more chromed, and they were they had like the little grooves where you put your you know, fingers for grip. But these definitely look like, you know, these are definitely for what I would consider, you know, watchmaking, and I think they're an awesome buy. Now, like I said, the two SAs are $4.90 on sale, and they've been on sale for a while now. So if you're going to do that, you might as well go ahead. That's the 5SA. Let me get into that. Now, you'd use that for more finer work. But, you know, just starting out, you don't really need that. You could get, if you're going to buy, you know, obviously, if you're going to do it in one order, this whole order cost me $24 shipped, which is still less than the cost of one pair of Dumont's. Now, I'm not saying these are a Dumont level, but I'm definitely saying, in my opinion, they're above many of the budget tweezer brands that I've seen, all the way down to, you know, really, really inexpensive ones for like, you know, a couple bucks. These are pretty much up there. I can't imagine, you know, anybody having any problem with these tweezers, and they're from a name that's been around for a long time, Romain Italy. And again, this is part of Viola. So the way they list them on their site as the distributor is that Viola is just supposedly a little bit less finished. I can't see where it is, because if you look at the, you know, the brushing, it looks just as good as any higher end tweezer, any Dumont I've seen. Maybe consistency might be an issue. I don't know. I will say, let me see. Let me go back to this one. Here's the twos. Now, these are the ones on sale. They have for $4.90. Now, if you look at, I would say maybe there, some of the, if you're really nitpicking, if really this matters for tweezers, and maybe it does for some, the brushing or a little bit of the, you know, where they machine it or grind it, maybe a little bit rougher, but I mean, I'm really trying to pick out flaws, really. I mean, they are tools. So these are the threes. These are finer tip, okay? So you'd use these for finer work. So these are about $7.35, $7.40. So if you could do the, you know, $7.40 for these, $7.40 for these, and $4.90 for the two SAs, you know, plus shipping, you're still under about 12 bucks probably shipped. But because I do videos, I have a pair of Dumont. I have Dumont number twos, and I can tell you that these are very almost identical to the Dumont twos. Like I said, there might not be as well finished, but again, I'm trying to find flaws with them, because mentally you're thinking, well, Dumont's cost $30, $35 for their basic stainless steel tweezers. You know, you would expect better quality compared to like $8 or $5 tweezers, $4 tweezers. But this is where I think the value proposition is for Romain. Again, the same in-depth graving. It's not where it's silk screened or laser etched on there. I'm not sure exactly. Like there's EDM, or I think there's a process. There's different processes, but if you were to take and clean them up with like Scotch-Brite or anything like that, you could take a lot of those tweezers, like the Vitas tweezers. The ones I have, at least, hopefully they were real. The markings, the like the number and all that, in the Vitas marking came right off after I kind of brushed them and cleaned them up a little bit, because they were pretty heavily used. They were my first set. Again, anti-acid. It says anti-acid, anti-magnetic stainless steel, deeply engraved, which is nice. It looks very nice. The engraving is really nice. 3SA, Romain Italy. Let me get you a close-up. Let's see if like all cell phones, the camera is, well, and I don't have a lot of light in my kitchen, so let me see if you go, you can see they are pretty evenly ground. You're not seeing like a top or a bottom that's a lot thinner than like you do on cheaper tweezers. There might be a little bit of difference, but it's not as prominent. So you're stepping up from the very economy line of tweezers. Now these are 5SAs. Again, same writing: anti-acid, anti-magnetic stainless steel. But these are for very fine work, and you really don't need these. People refer to these like as for hairspring work, but these are just, the numbers are very well correlate with like Dumont. So these are like 5s. Dumont 5s, those were 3s. And they all come in these little pouches, some green, some black. I don't know if they just have different colors. They come with the caps on them to keep you from getting stabbed or during shipping and stuff like that. So these are, again, I'm trying to find any, again, these are the same price. These are about $7.80, somewhere around $7.60, $7.80, under $8. Like I said, the only ones they're running a sale on or have been running a sale on consistently are the general work number 2s. And like I said, you can see the huge difference between the number 2s and the number 5s. And that's the way it should be, because number 2s are for finer work. A little bit shorter, they're a little bit, but you can see the tips. But again, these are number 2s. You could see the closing. I don't have a microscope, so but using them, just testing them out, they don't fling parts. They're just, tweezer control is something you need to practice on any type of tweezers. You don't want to squeeze too hard or your parts will go flinging. You don't want to be too light or you're going to keep dropping parts. You'll get the feel of it as you progress in your experience with doing watch movement disassembly and stuff, because the screws are so small. And it's just a technique of picking them up. But again, there's what I would recommend. If you're gonna start out, you just need these. Okay. So if you bought these for $4 right now on sale, I don't know how long the sale is running, but I just checked. I thought it went off for a while, but I wasn't sure. Went back to about $7, a little over $7. But now it's back on, and I think these are a bargain. I think they're way a step up. There's my doggies. You can hear my doggies. I think they're a huge step up from any economy cheapy tweezers. Cousin sells some really good like titanium ones, budget titanium ones, but people say they're too light or the action or this and that. It's just all personal preferences. Cousins usually has good stuff, and I would buy Cousins stuff in a heartbeat. Their own in-house brand for starting out, but for this price. Obviously, again, it's like a New Jersey distributor that's set to just distribute Viola and, Romain. Now, if you want to, you can get Viola's a little bit more of their premium line. But again, I'm really trying to nitpick on the finishing. How they grind these, they weld them right here. They do I'm not sure the actual process. There's no burrs right here. I mean, I got stuff caught in there, but there's no, usually with cheaper tweezers, you start feeling the cuts right here, sharpness. The edges are nice. You don't feel like anything cutting your skin. I like that it's engraved, because if I try to clean them up, maybe a year from now, because I've been banging them around, I just want, my OCD kicks in. It's not going to take off the markings like it does with cheap tweezers. Sorry, again, that's my dog. Got his hand slammed in the water. And the engraving's really nice, because you can always see which tweezer you're working with. Obviously, you'll get to know them by the tips there. So anyways, like I said, 3s. So I bought all three for 24 shipped, about 24 hours and some change shipped, which, let's see, 3.7. It was a little bit less. I think it was a little bit less. I think shipping, you add 3 tweezers to it. I think the shipping went up to like $4 or $5 or something like that, plus tax. So still at $25 for 3 tweezers that are, ground right. Again, I don't know. I don't think my phone's going to capture a lot of the, I would have to have a microscope. But you can see they're pretty finely, like I said, when you look at really inexpensive tweezers, it seems like they're using like excess steel that didn't pass grade sometimes. And you'll see like the bottom part of the tweezer will be, the blade will be thinner. You're not seeing that with this. So this is getting to that point, which is very inexpensive. Like I said, $4.90. It says it's marked as a sale price for the 2SAs. So again, I would start with 2SA, and I think you'd be totally fine with 2SA. And if you wanted to include this, the 3SAs for about $7.35, you got your fine tweezer. Those are much more fine tip. They're getting pretty close to the threes are getting pretty close to the fives, but there's nothing like the fives. The fines are even finer. Let's see. Yeah, I'll put the numbers so you can see them. So there's the threes on the left, and I always do to the right. Let me make sure you can see it. There's the threes on the left and the fives on the right. Again, you could order all three, assuming that you're going to be, getting into further in-depth work beyond just general watch servicing, movement servicing. You'll have these tweezers. And again, all three shipped, $25, let's say around $24, $25, is still cheaper than one Dumont. But Dumonts are Dumonts. They're excellent tweezers. They're Swiss made, and sometimes having Swiss made tweezers makes people feel good. They're definitely a quality brand. I wouldn't skip on them, but if you wanted to at least start with a good set of basic economical tweezers that are getting close to just about anything out there, I would say the Romain Italy ones are the best bang for buck. Like I said, you could step up to the Violas, which are about twice the money for each tweezer, and the finishing might be a little bit better, but looking at them, I can't see what you would need to make, if it shines so much, it's going to, become a problem where you're trying to see the work, right? So, really the finishing is fine. It's just like any tweezer. It's like brushed or ground a certain way where it's like, almost like, if you look at a Rolex, the brushing on a Rolex or an Omega, that's kind of what you're looking at. So it's like 316L stainless steel. So you have the rust resistance and anti-magnetic properties. So not much else I can say about them, but I would give them a try if you're looking for a set of tweezers that are probably, I would easily say, a step above any economy branded $5 tweezer. Okay, thanks.